So it's there when you talk about the situation, you think that you are talking about objective things, but there is something which is very deep, which is projecting on the discussion a distorted version of the topic itself. And I think he's right. I think it's very deep. I think that this is why we should not simplify the discussion or be a citizen and that's enough. While, for example, I was born and raised in Switzerland, I cannot do more than that. And still, my fellow citizens, some of them, the Swiss citizens, they don't get it. I'm not Swiss. Even some of them, the leading party in my country said, to me, we made a mistake by giving you the citizenship. So get it. Get it. It's very deep. It means you are too much a Muslim to be a true Swiss citizen. So he has an understanding of what citizenship means that you have to tackle. It's not only the passport that I can show you, it's deeper than that. And I think here that this is why the discussion with Olivia was said, no, you can't say that. It's something which is deeper than that. And when I was starting to speak about this question, this notion of citizenship to the Muslims, for example, and I put it in a book, What I Believe, I said, the Muslims, when they come with this understanding of what it means to be a European citizen, they should understand that there are three dimensions that are important. The three dimensions are what I call the 3 L's. The first is to abide by the law of the country, which is what Olivier Weiss is talking about, that we accept, which was asked for years and generations to the Muslims. You abide by the law because the feeling was, oh, these Muslims, they want specific law. And you know, it's very deep, even in Canada and even in Britain. If you listen to the controversy that we were facing, it's just unbelievable. That, for example, in Ontario, the Muslims were asking for arbitrary councils that were already there for the Jews and the Christians. And when they were asking exactly the same, they said, oh, they want specific law. No, we want the same as them. No, but if you are a Muslim asking for the same rights, it means that you want specific law. That's the problem. Exactly the same when it comes to what the Archbishop of Canterbury was saying when he was talking about, you remember this, he made one mistake. The big mistake is that he mentioned Sharia. And if you mention Sharia, it's just, you're not dealing with rationality, you are dealing with feelings and emotions. He mentioned this by saying we have to allocate the Muslim with a space for them in the common law. But he mentioned Sharia. He was saying in the common British legal system, there is a room for the Muslims to find their place. We have to allocate what is given to others. And more importantly, even what is given to Muslims is already there, in fact. What, the arbitrary councils were already there. And it made a big controversy. It became a big controversy. Why? Because, in fact, by saying the Muslims should get the same rights as the Jews and the Christians in this country, people are hearing what he's not saying. He's saying the same rights. What he's heard is specific rights. Meaning that law, if you don't get the idea that Islam is the religion of the other. So how come the other could be one of us? When he or she became a citizen, it means it's an outsider within. So an outsider within means that we might have to deal with him or her in a specific way as a citizen. So the starting point of our discussion is to be able to get these dimensions and as citizens say, okay, what I should do is to understand the multiple layers of what a citizen or citizenship means. The first is to abide by the law, we agree on that. The second, and it's important, that citizenship is not only, that doesn't only have to do with a status. It has to do with power. It has to do with power. It means that me as a citizen, I have the power to choose you you are going to have a mandate coming from the people. You are representing me as a leader, a political leader, or as the government, or as a party. And when it has to do with power, citizenship means empowerment. And you don't get empowerment without the L, which has to do with language. A citizen should get the language of the country. And I'm saying this from within the new citizens who happen to be Muslims, but not only. Anyone who is talking about citizenship should get it right. It is about the status, but it's about power. If you don't get the language, you're not going to get the power to express your freedom, your rights, and your duties at the same time. Language is critical. And many of the people that have been meeting at the grassroots level, the narrative is problematic. Why? Because yes, you have the passport, but you don't speak the same language. You don't speak our language. And language, once again, is just to speak English when you are in the UK, or to speak Swedish when you are in Sweden. It's deeper than that. It has to do with the deep cultural roots. Very often when I'm talking about this issue, you know, when Karl Marx was saying, you get the language of the country when you start dreaming with the language of the country. When you start dreaming in Swedish, it means that you are a Swede, a Swedish citizen. I think it is when you sleep. I have another parameter when you are awake is sense of humor. If you laugh with the people when there is a joke in your language and you get it, you get it. You are with it. Sense of humor is the revealing factor. Very often, you know, even, you know, I've been in the UK for so many years, but sometimes I don't get it. Yeah, laughing, I don't know why. And no, and maybe it could happen with your own country, I don't know. But very often you get the sense of humor when you get the language, the D dimension. It's psychological. It's something that it's giving you something which is a sense of belonging through the language. And there is the third L, which is important. And I'm not only talking about feeling, it's empowerment. I want to connect citizenship with status and empowerment. It's the sense of confidence that you are at home. And with this, there is another thing which is important that we are very often questioned about, is loyalty. To be loyal to your country. Meaning that, yes, I'm at home, but I'm not only taking advantage of all the benefits in the society, I'm not involved in the society. It's, I want the best for the society. And it has to be felt, and it has to be visible. So this is coming from the new citizen. You feel at home, and you are loyal to your country. It doesn't mean that you are going to support the football team anytime your football team is playing against your country of origin, which is very rare. It means that you want the best. I'm saying this, you can laugh at this, but it's critical to get an understanding of this emotional attraction or empathy that you can have with your country of origin. Don't be shy about it. Feel it the way it is. For example, the problem that we had in Mauritius, or the problem that we had in France, when Algeria was playing France, and the young French people were accused not to be true French because they were supporting Algeria. I think many Algerian people were on the defensive. No, we don't have to move against the national, how do you say that? The national anthem. We don't have to do that. And I was against it. But the feeling that there is a connection with you, that's not a problem. That doesn't mean that you are not loyal to the country. So I would say here, loyalty is a very important dimension that we have to add to the objective legal dimension of being a citizen in the country, is to feel this, what we call the sense of belonging. When I was working at Rotterdam, I added this to the project that we were talking about citizenship and diversity, and I said citizenship, diversity, and sense of belonging. That we need to get this. Why? Because the sense of belonging, when you are within the society, we help the whole society to question its own narrative with this us that we are talking about, when you feel at home, that this is me, this is my country. But in order to challenge the narrative, you have to feel it. You can't challenge a narrative from the legal viewpoint. It's not going to happen. So it's very much something which has to do with the psychological factor. And I think that this is where we enter here in the cultural dimension. and we are able to say, yes, there is the objective first level layer when it comes to be a citizen with the passport. There is a second, which is empowerment with language, and then there is this deep sense of belonging to the country that is coming from education. It's coming from the way we talk about ourselves. The way, for example, too many Europeans don't get the fact that their societies have changed, that it's over. The old Swedish society is not going to be the same again. It's over. It's multicolored. You have to deal with it. And it's everywhere the same. And if we are serious about this, this should be officially said in our textbooks, in our schools. Because our schools cannot just talk about, you know, the great past of our ancestors in a way which is not reflecting what is the society today. You can't, in France or in the UK today, and more even than in Sweden, because of the historical experience, the Muslim presence has been longer there than here, but you have to integrate the greatness of all these cultures that are now shaping the UK and France. And not only to speak about Algeria in a way which has to do with colonization. Yes, the colonization was part of our common experience. For some it was bad, for others it was apparently good. Apparently. I can't get in that. But anyway, so this is it. But we need also to be able to talk about the greatness of the cultures of origin. And the contribution of the fathers and mothers when they came in the country and they built these countries after the Second World War. A positive discourse on our common past. And this has to be in the books. Yes, we don't want anyone to avoid any lessons on the extermination of the Jews in Europe. This cannot be a solution that avoid discussion. I have teachers telling me, we avoid this discussion because we know that our students, they don't like it and they don't feel good. We have to teach it. You have to know what happened in this continent. But you have to add to this all the other dimensions of the richness of Europe. It has to be officially done because there is no way to create, to shape a new narrative. To say, this is past. I recognize the past, my parents, the past of my presence here in the way you value our common heritage, a common history of diverse memories. That's the starting point of something which has to do with citizenship. Why? Because if we don't do this, and we don't come to this discussion, it will come from another angle, and which is happening now with the populists and the far-right parties, and unfortunately all the classical parties are falling into the same trap. Accepting something which is a kind of the nation, which is a reconstruction of us against the other or the perceived other. And it's a trap for all of us, and I will come to this. Having said that, and as I am saying, I'm not reducing citizenship to the objective dimension. I'm adding now something which has to do with psychology, culture, and self-perception. Self-perception. And I started from within the new citizens and the new cultural communities or religious communities, Muslims, or it could be for whoever else. Now, what we have as an official discourse is multiculturalism is failing. Meaning, all this ideal of common citizenship is falling apart because we have a problem with diversity of culture. So, the diversity of culture is now undermining the commonality of the status of being citizens. So, the fact that you are coming from a specific culture is undermining the fact that you have the common, the same, and the equal status as citizens. And this is where, why we put it together, this defining citizenship from a legal reference to a cultural understanding, is if we don't get the cultural understanding, it's going to undermine the very essence of the legal reference, as I was saying. Wilhelm Schenkel in the Netherlands, he's a sociologist. And he came with something, I don't agree with the way he's phrasing it, or he is